Good morning, students. Today we are meeting in the virtual classroom of Standard 5. It is being organized by St. Paul Modern School, talking by Begusaray. Today we are going to read the first chapter in your science book, which is Reproduction in Plants. It's a very interesting chapter. We'll show it mainly through the slides. Please pay attention to what I am saying and what the slides are showing very carefully. Because in the actual classroom, when you have doubt, when you have some questions, you can ask me directly, which you cannot do here. But if you pay attention very closely, you will understand it as well. What is reproduction? Plants you have seen, but how the plants reproduce, how they make another plant like the parent plant, that process is called reproduction. Let us begin with the conception. What is reproduction? Let's look at the conception through some slides.
Like all other living organisms, plants also grow and reproduce. How do plants reproduce? Most plants bear seeds. Seeds germinate and grow into new plants. Plants also grow from other parts such as roots, stems and leaves, but most plants grow from seeds. Now, structure of a seed. A seed is made up of three main parts: seed coat, seed leaves or cotyledons. In science class we will call it cotyledons. And third, baby plant. Again in scientific terms we call it embryo. You can examine a seed. It is a little difficult when they are hard and dry. So let us do an activity. Take some bean seeds. Soak them in water for about a day. Next morning, observe the seeds. The seeds overnight will absorb water and swell. They will be fatter. Now they are easier to examine. Now select one seed and observe it carefully. What do you see? First, there is a thin skin-like covering on the seed. It is called the testa. In scientific language, in common language, we call it seed coat. It protects the seed. It protects the baby plant inside the seed. It has a tiny hole on one side. It allows water and air to enter the seed. The seed also had two seed leaves, or it may be one seed leaf. Some seeds like gram, bean, pea have two seed leaves. They are dicotyledon seeds or dicot seeds. And some seeds like maize, rice, wheat, they have only one seed leaf. They are monocotyledon seeds or monocot seeds. And there is the most important part. A tiny, delicate baby plant lies between the seed leaves. The baby plant, you can see, it is made up of a baby shoot and a baby root. The shoot grows upward, root grows downward. When the seed gets enough water, the baby plant will start to grow. It uses the food stored in the seed leaves. When a seed grows into a baby plant, the process of a seed growing into a baby plant, we call this process seedling. Is the baby plant itself. From seed to seedling, This process is called germination. Let us do an activity at home. Take a small plastic jar and fill it with either soil or water. Water will also do. Take a viable bean seed. Viable means a good bean seed, healthy bean seed, and place it in the soil or the water in the jar. Keep the jar in bright and airy place. Sprinkle water every day if it is in the soil. If it is in the water, you need not sprinkle extra water. Observe after a few days. After one day, the seed takes in water and becomes swollen. The seed coat splits up. After 3 days, the baby root begins to grow. It grows downward. After 7 days, the baby shoot begins to grow and it will grow upwards. After about 12 days to 2 weeks, the first leaves grow and the seed leaves at this time begin to shrivel because their work has been done. So what are the conditions necessary for seed germination? Number 1, we need air, we need water, we need soil. All these are necessary conditions for germination of a seed to seedling. Let us do another activities. Take 4 containers. Mark them A, B, C and D. In container A, place dry cotton wool. In containers B, C and D, keep moist cotton wool. Moist cotton wool soaked with water. Now place 3 or 4 healthy cowpea seeds on top of the cotton wool in containers A, B and D, and some unhealthy seeds, shriveled up seeds in container C. Place containers A, B and C in sufficient light and air. Place container D in the refrigerator. Now go on observing them daily. After 3 or 4 days, you will observe that container A, C and D, these seeds remain unchanged, but the seeds in the container B have germinated. Why? Container A received suitable temperature and air but no moisture. Container C received suitable temperature, air and moisture, but the seeds were unhealthy. Container D did not receive suitable temperature, although it had air and moisture. Only container B received suitable temperature, air and moisture, also healthy seeds. All these conditions help the seeds in container B to germinate. So air, moisture, suitable temperature and healthy seeds, all are necessary conditions to have a good plant. Now, you have seen that a mango tree, say, it bears many mangoes. Each mango has a seed inside it. Now, if all the ripe mangoes fall under the mother tree, all of them cannot grow properly because all the seeds will not get enough space, water, soil and sunlight. Some of them will grow, some will not be healthy, and some seeds will die. So seeds need to be scattered, dispersed properly to avoid overcrowding. The process by which seeds are scattered away from the mother plant is called seed dispersal. Seeds cannot walk away by themselves, so they need agents like wind, water, animals, birds, explosion of fruits for this scattering. Now, some of the plants are dispersed by wind. Seeds of such plants must be very light, small, hairy or winged, so they can be easily carried away by the wind, like cotton seed, dandelion seed, drumstick seed. Seeds may be also carried by water bodies, particularly the plants that grow in or near the water bodies are dispersed by water. These seeds must be spongy or have fibrous covering such as water lilies, palm, coconut, etc. Human beings and animals eat a large number of fleshy fruits like mango, orange, guava, nuts. After eating the edible part, they throw away the seeds here and there. Sometimes the animals eat the whole fruit, including seeds. The seeds are not digested and pass out through their feces. Again, there are some weeds like xanthium, speargrass. They have special hook-like structure. You have seen when you go through a field, sometimes seeds of these plants, they get stuck in your skin or in your clothes. They attach to the clothes of human beings and get carried away to long distances. Fruits of pea, bean, custard, lady's finger, these disperse the seeds by explosion. When these ripen, when they are in a ripe condition, the fruits of these plants burst. After going dry, they burst open with great force, throwing the seeds out. They are carried several feet away from the parent plant.
So, if you have understood up to this point, we can go to the next part, which is a little more complicated than the first one, but nevertheless you will enjoy it as much. So, let us now look at how many kinds of plants can be there. Let us start with this conception through some interesting pictures. Please look at the pictures and listen very carefully, right?
Apart from streets, I already told you that plants are there which grow from the other plant parts. Like there are some plants that grow from stems, such as sugarcane, money plant, rose. Potato is a stem also that grows underground. It has buds called eyes. Each eye can grow a new plant. Ginger, onions, all these are underground stems. We can cut a rose plant stem and plant it to have another new rose tree. There are some plants that grow from roots, such as beetroot, carrot, sweet potato. Let us do an activity. Take a sweet potato. Take a beaker or a glass and fill it with water. Now take 4 needles or long toothpicks and insert the needles of the toothpicks from all 4 sides of the sweet potato and hang it from the top of the beaker or glass. the lower end of sweet potato should touch the water in the beak. Keep the whole setup out in sunlight. A few days later, you will see the sweet potato by itself giving rise to a new baby plant. So this is an example of plants growing from roots. Some plants like Bryophyllum, begonia, they develop buds on their leaves, and when the leaves fall on the ground, many new plants grow from the buds. Plants also grow from spores. Some plants, those who do not bear flowers like mushrooms, ferns, mosses, they grow from their spores. They don't produce seeds. Mature plants produce spores on the underside of the leaves, and when the spores germinate, they grow into small plants.
So you have understood this part. We will move to the next part. That is the final part of our this discussion on the first chapter. So be more attentive. If you are feeling a little restless, please have a break, take some time, have something to eat, and then come back. But be very serious about this concluding part, because it will be more interesting but more complicated also. Now, please pay attention very closely.
Human population, is increasing day by day. There is explosion of population. And because of this, there is an increasing demand for food. And a majority of our food comes from plants. Therefore, there is a need to grow plants in large scale that provide us food. What is agriculture? The practice of growing plants for food and other useful purposes is called agriculture. And what is crop? It is also a common word you have heard. Plants of the same kind, grown on a large scale in a particular field during a particular season. 4 points are there. Plants of the same kind grown on a large scale in a particular field during a particular season are called crops. Crops are mainly of two types: cereal crops and pulses like wheat, rice, maize, lentil, chickpea, and also vegetable crops and fruit crops like tomato, cauliflower, mango, banana, orange, etc. Now different crops are grown in different seasons. On the basis of seasons, they are grouped as Kharif crops and Rabi crops. Kharif crops are sown in the rainy season, in the month of June to September. They are harvested, cut during October and November. For example, rice, maize, jowar, bajra, cotton, etc. And Rabi crops are those crops that are sown in winter, in November, and harvested roughly in April. For example, wheat, barley, gram, pea, etc. In order to get a good yield, farmers have to work constantly, continuously. They must add manure in the soil, and there are lots of processes of farming by which ultimately a good crop is grown. Let us go through these processes one by one. First, ploughing. What is ploughing? Ploughing is the digging of soil with the help of plough drawn either by animals or by tractors. It helps to loosen up the soil. Second part is sowing seeds. Seeds must be sown at the right depth in the soil. Healthy and ripe seeds of the best variety are selected for this purpose. It can also be done manually or by machine. Third part is manuring. What is manure? Manure is a natural substance made up of dead and decomposed plant parts and animal dung. Farmers also use fertilizers to the soil to increase crop production. Some of the common fertilizers, chemical manure, the farmers used are urea, superphosphate, ammonium sulfate, etc. But mind you, use of fertilizers for a long time may be harmful for the soil and the crop. Now, the next part, it is also very important part, irrigation. Plants you need water. Plants need water. The process of watering the plants in the field is called irrigation. Various ways are there, like tube wells, dug wells, rivers, ponds, canal system. Different kinds of pest or insect, they harm the crop. So we must also spray insecticides regularly, by hand, manually, or by machine. Finally, when the good crop is there, we must harvest this. What is harvesting? Harvesting is the process of gathering mature crops from the fields. It includes two processes. Number one, reaping, that is cutting of the standing crops, cutting down of the standing crops. It can also be done manually or in modern times by machine. And then winnowing, separating the grains from the sap. Finally, now the harvested crop, it is sent either for sale or for storage. If it is sold, no problem. But sometimes the extra crop, they must be stored properly in such a facility that will protect the crop from climatic hazards, pests, rodents. They must be protected for future use. So we, in our villages, make some special silos, kothis we call it in Hindi. And also modern cold storages are there for future protection of the stored crops.
So students, now that we have discussed the first chapter, now I have some task for you. We will give you some questions on this chapter which you will be expected to do in a separate notebook and also draw some diagrams related to this chapter. If you have gone through this video very carefully, you can answer all the questions. But I will also tell you that please go through the actual chapter in your book very seriously, one by one reading. Because the more you read the actual book, actual chapter, it will give you more command over your English language and the subject also. In the meantime, we'll meet in the next class. In the next week, perhaps on the second video. Till then, you get prepared with your first chapter. I'm sure you will not waste your time. Stay home, stay safe. We'll meet again very soon. Thank you and